Hello guys, and welcome to another Zimaleta. In today's video we're going to talk a little bit about Expedite. I'm just going to point out a few things, and I wanted to kind of like tell you guys that I want you to get something from my videos, kind of like what I am trying to do here. I am trying to stand up for you as a driver, and for you as a driver that has started their own company and you're trying to make it. And I am working on ways to try to be a little bit more of help, but there's not a lot of talk about this, about Expedite, and I've heard this straight from my viewers. Sometimes I get them on the phone, and we actually talk. I try to be a little bit more available for my viewers and just kind of, get on the phone and talk to you guys as well. And also, if you guys choose to pay me for my time, that I could do as well. You don't have to, but if you guys choose to, that would be the thing. But of course, that would be also a faster way to talk to me, because I have a really busy schedule. But anyways, that being said, talking through a video, it's a lot easier for me because, I could actually say what I have to say and then, move on, and then many people kind of like hear about it. First of all, I did talk about this PDF here that I have. I've typed this up in my notepad. There's total of 40 pages, I believe, 42 pages. So this is kind of like easy to read, type of PDF. What I might do is in one of my videos that's going to be coming up, I'm just going to probably maybe like do a read of the entire thing. I'm going to maybe try to do something more interesting where it's not going to be like just me reading like this, right, to you, but it's going to be rather me doing kind of like a voiceover and probably some videos that would make things a little bit more interesting in the process, kind of like make a little different style, and also probably use a voiceover microphone. I have several to choose from, and I think that's going to be kind of like in a podcast type of style, just to get you acquainted with what I have to say in there, because there's a lot that's going on in there, and I think it is important to actually, talk about those things. Many people, they don't realize how much money you're losing in depreciation until that actually hits you. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about one of my friends that I'm not gonna mention his name. He does watch my channel. But I recently talked to him right after making those series of videos for you guys about, like Expedite and all this stuff, and sometimes I get a little bit more rowdy and, that kind of thing. For that, I apologize, but I don't need to apologize for trying to stand up for the drivers that are being taken advantage of by big companies, corporations. That's always been an issue. It's not a problem where it comes to opening up a corporation. It's not the same thing. Like, anybody could open up a corporation, but when a corporation has a lot of power, especially when a lot of monopoly power, kind of like what Progressive is doing right now, it's they got a huge monopoly on insurance, and they're making everybody basically buy their insurance. So that being said, I do want to actually talk about some of these things here. Not about insurance, but I will talk about one of my friends that actually was experiencing so much success with Expedite. Now, at the time before I even bought this home, I met him, at a truck stop, just like I normally do with drivers. And a lot of times we become friends and we stay in touch. And me and this friend, we really hit it off, and we always stayed in touch. We always shared all our loads that we're doing. We're sharing our companies together, and I was working for a different company than he was working for, and he was working actually for several. He was experiencing a lot of success. In some points, he was doing better than I was, but he's like, yeah, come back to my company, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be staying with mine, because mine was paying a little bit less. It was a little bit different stuff that was going on, and I kind of like that. And I was working for a small company. I like working for small companies. It's like mom and pop type of shops that were drivers before, and they know where the drivers is coming from. So I really hope that mom and pop shops that opened up, I hope you guys don't get offended in one of my videos that I did, where I basically say that some of these companies are like scum of the earth. The ones I'm talking about is when they get too big. They open up, probably they would have a lot of money. They open up, and what they do is they open up sometimes 3 or 4 corporations at the same time, just because they know they're going to be taken advantage, and they're growing 3 or 4 companies at the same time because they got money to do it with, and they're taking advantage in all sorts of ways, and the only one that's losing at the end of the day is the actual driver that just started out with this. That being said, I really don't want to put too much emphasis on that. I do think that I should mention that, because I don't want you guys to get discouraged from opening up a company thinking that everybody's bad. No, it's bad when the company starts taking advantage. It is okay when the company is trying to be fair and is trying to give you fair value for what you're doing. And I'm not going to say market value here because that could mean different things for everybody. What I think that the driver should be getting paid, he should be getting paid enough to cover all his expenses and have some money to live on. Because after all, this is a business. This is not like a regular type of employment where you go to a job and you collect a paycheck and then you're going home at the end of the day. Maybe you enjoyed some overtime and you got like time and a half for your time. And you go back to your family and stuff like that, and then you do your thing. But this is more like, you know, you have this business, you got all these expenses, and here you are on the road, taking all the losses, taking all the risks and everything with the business, and then you got somebody that's sitting behind their computer, and you know, it sounds like I'm making this small, but it's a group of people that's sitting behind their computer, and they could be wearing whatever they're wearing, and they don't have to look good, they don't have to look professional, nobody's really seeing them, they're sitting in one room, kind of like a little call center and stuff like that, and they're basically taking advantage of all these drivers. And why are they taking advantage? Well, they are not sharing the exact information that they're getting the load for, yet they're claiming that the load is so cheap that they can't give it to you for any other price besides giving it to you for 55 cents or 60 cents or like, you know, 65 or 70 cents. You know, if those claims are true, that it is so cheap, then, you know, there should be some transparency. There should be some way of communication where you're like, listen, I'm being honest with you. This is what I have. Look, I could actually email it to you. And then that builds trust. And maybe it's the tough times at that moment, and you're going to have an understanding. So therefore, when you do have an understanding, you can, you know, work with the company until things improve, and then you're going to be back to making money like they're used to. Because if this is not going to happen, ultimately, what's going to happen, probably with my help, maybe some other people's help that are on YouTube and are speaking out, that I'm definitely willing to just help people out there, just basically put the information out there for free and give you guys step by step how to open up your own MCDOT. That way you don't have to be stuck working for these companies that are taking advantage of you, and ultimately you're gonna lose a lot of money in the process. So you can just open up your own thing, and I'm not gonna tell you guys how to run. I'll give you some advice, but everybody is different businessman, and not all of you guys are entrepreneurs. So some of you guys just gonna want to just have a little bit more freedom and just to load yourselves, and so nobody's gonna be telling you like what to do and stuff. I'm not saying you're gonna hit it off big, right? But in the next 3 years, you're gonna build your company up a little bit. You're gonna be a little bit more well known with brokers. You will be taking some other loads from some other companies in the process to fill in the void where you don't have the work coming in, and then you're gonna be a little bit more successful. So let's get back to my friend and stuff. And I probably, you know, should somehow mention this in the beginning, but it's so difficult a lot of times to try to bring everything up and you know, talk about everything that I want to talk about in the beginning. Here's the thing. Before I bought my home, right, I met, you know, this person, and he was doing well, and he bought himself a 2015 Sprinter. He actually just converted from a box truck. He was in a box truck. So what does that tell you? He got out of the box truck, he got himself a brand new Sprinter van, and at the time I was like, I was into just buying something used and just, you know, keep going it. But you know, he made a lot of points to me and stuff like that where I 100% supported him, still do. He is single, he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have his own house that he's paying for. So he bought himself a brand new van that he could just hustle with, 2015 model, a 4-cylinder. So he did a really good job on that. He bought a 4-cylinder, which was a lot more fuel efficient. It's more like fuel efficiency of a 5-cylinder type of a Sprinter. So he really did good on that, because that alone is savings between $5,000 and $7,000, depending on how much you drive, depending on how, like, what kind of fuel prices that you're gonna have. You know, there is definitely savings in fuel economy, because that van, a 4-cylinder, does about 24 miles per gallon. Now, unfortunately, they're not making that one anymore. They discontinued it. So I'm not saying that's a good engine or a bad engine. I don't know much about it, but all I could tell you is all diesels they have problems. But for some reason, when I would talk to different drivers and stuff, they would tell me they're having this issue or that issue. It seems like a lot of them, they were having fuel rail issues with their 4-cylinders. Like for some reason, fuel rail light was on, yet the van is starting. So I don't know, maybe there's a problem there. But at least you got the fuel economy, and you could afford with the fuel savings to keep it fixed at least. I mean, you should be really relying on that. I mean, you should be having business that be profitable, even if you're doing like 18 miles per gallon. It should be profitable enough so that you could fix your van. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. So, anyways, I can't believe we're at 10 minutes and I'm still talking about this one thing that I really can't even tell you guys. I can't even like begin telling you like what kind of happened to him. Okay. And this is a story with many of my friends that I know for a while. It is one thing or another thing, but all of them come to a point where they have to they have to cut their losses. So basically, what happened with him is he bought this 2015 van, right? And I had this used one. And we're kind of going, and he was like telling me, Serge, like, when are you going to be getting a new van? And I'm like, you know what, man, I would really like to get this 2015 as well. I really like the 4 cylinders. I would get it. Like, in my mind, I made all the right justifications to actually pick that van up. But something was not really feeling right for me to actually get it, because I'm thinking, man, I already been to the downtimes. I already been to all the, like economy crashed, in 2008 and 9. And I know how it is when you have a brand new van and you can't make a payment on it because there's no work to go around. No companies are willing to take you on to give you loads, even though you're a contractor. Yet, you still got this payment. You still got the maintenance and upkeep and everything. You still got to do all those things, so it gets kind of like expensive. So here's the thing. He just traded his van in, okay? Long story short, he just traded in. Guess what? That's a 2015 model. We are in 2019. He had a little bit over 300,000 miles on it. I can't remember exactly. A little bit over 300,000. So not that much of a mileage. About the standard mileage that you would see in about 3 to 4 years. Actually, for him, it's quite a bit lower than normally that you would see. Guess what? He still owed $14,000 on that van, and the dealer only gave him $7,000. And I talked to him about different things. Why didn't you sell it yourself? Why don't you do this? But he has basically, like his own business thoughts. So for him, it's kind of like, okay. And I was the same way when I hopped into my van when I was actually starting to pay for it, used one. Because I was working for a fleet owner, and I wasn't making much, so to me it was a lot better idea to grab something for payments, something used for payments, than continuing working for a fleet owner where I'm really limited to the companies that I could work with, and I'm limited to what I could really make, and I'm sharing the money, so that is not good for me. So I much rather get something used for payments like $8,000-$10,000 and basically just use that and build my business up from there. Yes, it's gonna be hard times. Yes, it's gonna be breakdowns, and I've experienced a bunch of those. But at least you're a little bit in control, and I like to be in control of my business, not anybody else. So that being said, he just traded his van in for a pickup truck, and he basically started a different type of business where he's doing car hauls now, and he's doing better. He's a little bit more stable. It's a lot more difficult, of a business to go into. So right now, it's been a month and he hasn't made any money with that. As a matter of fact, he's got into more debt than ever because of all these business expenses. Everything goes on credit cards and stuff like that. And then that becomes a huge problem. But you know what, guys? During the years that I've known him, man, I've seen a lot of success going on because he was really... He don't have like no kids, no wife, no house, nothing to spend his money on, like utilities. So he was just basically upkeeping his Sprinter van, doing great, just doing good, man. He was thinking about buying a second Sprinter, putting a driver on this, and that did not really work out for him because, economy really slowed down. And I got a chance to really talk to him yesterday. I'm like, hey, listen, you just quit about a month ago, so how was it? He says things are just really, really slow. And he's got some other buddies of his, things are really slow for them. They're quitting as well. So there's a lot of drivers that are quitting, not just me. This expedite thing. However, I'm not going to say everybody quit. No. Get in control of your business. Start controlling everything the right way. Through my videos, you're going to be able to get some helps and some insights to where like how you should actually do that. Because here's the thing. My friend at the time had the money. Had more money than I did. He could have bought himself a house. He chose to grow his business instead, and I was leaning towards growing my business instead too, but we decided that we're gonna just get a home and just go with that. So he was actually supporting me, what I was doing. I was supporting him, what he was doing. Yet he had all this money, but in time, that money was being lost because expenses started coming in. His van was no longer warranted, so he had breakdowns. He fixed those breakdowns. but it cost him a lot of money. So what am I trying to, what is the takeaway here? Okay, the takeaway here is this. Okay, this guy was hustling. Sometimes he would have clean cash sitting $40,000 in a year. Guess what? The next year he paid insurance up front. Man, it'll be like sometimes like 14 grand up front. Maybe it was a little bit lower. I can't remember now. I got so many different insurance policies in my head. Then he had all these other expenses. He had to put tires, he had to service it, he make sure like everything's maintenance and all these other things. Okay, and he was trying to pay a little bit more on his printer, you know, stuff like that. So that being said, he had enough for fuel. He would start going and stuff. But next year wasn't as good as last year. Now he's losing a little bit of money. He still makes a little bit of money, but now some money has to go on credit cards and stuff like that. So what am I really like saying here, guys? Because man, I really try to get it out. It's that he was just fending for himself. You know, that was his thing. So he wasn't able to really make it in this business. Not because he was bad. He was also willing to hustle. He worked for many different companies. There's just not enough loads for him to go around and stuff. So using him as an example, he was really good at what he did. So was I. We really hustled. But because things became slow, now he's out of the business and he incurred a loss of $7,000. Now he traded it because he traded his van in. Now he's got a dually for $60,000 because of that loss there. So what does that really tell you? It tells you this: he was standing in one spot. He never really advanced in expedite. And now he's into a different business. He's testing it out. And will he advance? We don't know. Only time will tell. But we know each other for like over 5 years now. So in that time, I have advanced, even though I was an expedite. I was with a used van. I invested my money into something that's, to real estate, which, goes up in value. And all of my money that I made, I was spending into my home, just spending everything in there. So I'm like, I still got nothing left, but at least I know I invested sweat equity, I invested supplies. Half of the time I was getting at clearance prices, not all the time, because a lot of stuff is not in clearance that I want, that I really, really need. So I was able to really get all the tools that are necessary to do real estate jobs. I have pretty much every single tool in the book because I did it all now. I've learned a new trade. I've basically advanced that sort of thing. I've got training how to do more when it comes to real estate investing. As a matter of fact, guys, you don't know this, but I know more about real estate than I know about expedite now. I've invested a lot more time learning real estate business than anything else out there. Okay, now except YouTube, that I actually learned up a lot. There's a huge strategy behind that. But when you're trying to advance in your career, in your life, you always have to look back. You always have to look back at how was last year. Are you better off this year? You have to compare that year to this one. If you haven't advanced and if you went lower, you need to figure out why did that happen. You're going to need to sit down. You're going to need to write down every single expense you had. Hopefully you are a good bookkeeper and you upkept all those expenses, because it is a business and you will need to do some write-offs at the end of the year when you do your taxes. So that's really important. So you need to kind of know, where did your money go? Where did it all go? You need to just calculate everything. And then you need to decide, what do you need to do in order to now put more money into your pocket? Because the saying is still true. It is not how much money you make, it is how much money you keep. Now, I think more of myself as an investor. And I'm not just saying a real estate investor. I'm an investor all around. I invest my money into sprinters, into cars, into stuff that I could resell. And I kind of hold on to it. I don't resell it right away. I should, but I mean, there's only so much you could do. And I would say that, I would say that I did a lot of stuff right. For somebody of my caliber, right? Because I don't consider myself anybody special. I am not highly educated, like from university. I did take some college for 4 months, some basic stuff, But I constantly educate myself through YouTube, through audiobooks, through learning experiences from millionaires, that what they did, what kind of businesses they did. And I learned from that. A lot of times they are not open about like what they did to get to where they went. But if you if you get so much information from different people, each one of them has a little clue as to what they did. You put all those clues together, you form a puzzle that has all the pieces. Maybe some are still missing, but you almost have all the pieces of the puzzle. You're kind of seeing the clear picture. You know what I mean? So you kind of know what does it take to be successful in business. And eventually, I should be already now becoming a life coach for many of you guys. And that, of course, would be becoming a, like a paid life coach, even though if I don't charge like, a lot of money, but maybe like some kind of like phone calls or something. Let me know if I should start that. I think if I was to do that, for a beginning, I would probably have a limited amount of spaces, probably total of 12 spaces. Why 12? There's 12 months in a year for the beginning, and it would only cost like $100 per month for those type of people to be in there. So ultimately for me, it's only going to make me like $1,200, but that means I would give you guys access like one time a week, or maybe like certain amount of hours per week, to where you could call me and you could actually talk to me or ask questions and stuff. I think in time I'm gonna have to develop those things. Now, going forward, if I do become a life coach, I'm going to be charging like everybody else, which is not going to be really cheap. And it's because the biggest thing in this is when you're actually doing something like this is actually understanding the whole picture. And there's a lot of time management that goes into it. So if I'm only charging like $100, per person, you have access to me all the time, it's gonna obviously wear me down and maybe not gonna be like profitable and stuff like that. But what I will do is, and if I'm starting this, let me know if there's 12 people in here that would actually like to do that. If there is, we'll kick it off. And I could actually set it up like through SquarePay, because I do have like SquarePay, so that you could have that, but you'll have direct access to me. You could ask me questions about expedite, real estate, sprinters, whatever you see on this channel. You could ask me questions about that and I could talk to you. Maybe I could get you a little bit more motivated. Maybe you can have a little bit more information to go forward. But I am thinking about becoming a life coach because I really enjoy what I do. But time is really important, because I'm like basically like a teacher, like a coach. Ultimately, that's the way I look at myself. And I will be doing like motivational speeches like at big conferences and stuff like that around the world. That is my goal. So what I will do is I definitely will do this. I wasn't really planning to do it now, but if there's enough takers in here and you want because I'm only gonna take like 12 people at $100 level, because it is a cheap level. I'm gonna have to still come up with appropriate amount of time, for that, because time is important. So I'll come up with the proper time, for everybody, what is gonna actually make sense, and I'll actually announce that. That way we could all be happy and we could all be on the same page about it. Because future ones that would like to, get on, I'll actually charge you more, and that's because I'm already busy, and to take on any more, new clients and stuff like that, then, I would have to charge more, because I have less time to give, but I still have to make time. You guys know what I mean. I still have, life to do and stuff like that. But I enjoy doing that, and I actually already spent so much time talking to a lot of you guys on the phone. You guys, know who you are. You call me up, and we do emails and stuff like that, and we talk about different stuff, and I don't even charge you, nothing for it, because I actually enjoy doing it. I enjoy helping, but truth of the matter is, I obviously don't have time for everybody, and that is a sad truth. I really don't, but I would like to start somewhere and actually become kind of like more of a life coach to try to help people, because I really believe that I could save people thousands of dollars, and I could put somebody on the right track to success, to actually begin to grow whatever they're doing. And I believe a lot of people are going to become successful. But of course, if you guys are watching my videos and stuff, you're going to be learning a lot through my videos anyways, because I'm pretty much going to be sharing a lot on the videos. There's certain things that obviously I can't share with videos, because there's constantly updated information that's coming in from me as well, because I'm always learning, I'm always educating myself. But I know what I did to be where I am today. And like I said, I did a lot of stuff right. I invested into my home. I have a second commercial property, which I'm standing on right now. Everything is paid for in cash. I have 12 cars. which the way I look at it is that's a lot of parts, that's a lot of inventory that's gonna help me. I also invest a lot of money into, like, I have, you know, transportation vehicles and stuff that I could use for any kind of business that I think of. Could be like a local trade of some sort, and I could basically put tools in it, put a driver in it, and just do like either local deliveries or local construction of some sort. You know, I could, like, shoot, even painting, you know. You don't really need a lot of tools for that. So give somebody a van, you know, these 2006s or lower, they're still great dependable vans. Maybe they're not good for expedite, but man, they certainly are great for everything else when it comes to having a local business. I mean, that is a beautiful van, to be honest with you. Got a tall roof, it's very long, you could put everything in it. Even if you got a short one, that's still, it's a great van to have. The shorter ones are probably even more fuel efficient than these longer ones. But I have basically, guys, started living a life where I'm not employed by anybody. I'm not really right now doing anything special. I'm not like doing any other business besides like what I actually want, and I'm doing everything online. And I'm actually generating enough revenue to basically pay for everything and still be able to buy something to enjoy my life a little bit more, like with family and stuff like that. But guys, I am still very, very, very passionate. This is not going away. I was always like this. I am passionate about helping people, and I am tired of people getting taken advantage by large corporation or even like medium-sized corporation. I want you to all to just open up your own corporation. It is not the same as these large corporations, because you're still going to be struggling, and start working and building your own business. Start working on that branding, and don't let these large companies advertise in your vans for free. That makes you an employee. They're making you work only for them just because they manipulate you in order to get their own insurance. You should only get it if you want to get their own insurance. You should only put stickers on your van if you want to. As a matter of fact, this is another trick of large companies. They get you into that company. They set you up with their insurance, which is cheaper than your standard insurance will be. So for you, it's going to look good. But they trick you because they say you have to work for them for at least 6 months, because they put these stickers in your van. So now if you quit, you're gonna have to pay for all those stickers. They probably installed some kind of satellite system, and it's probably cost like $300 to install. They're gonna deduct that from your paycheck. Actually, they're not even paying for that, and then they say they're gonna refund you this money after 6 months or something. So it is kind of like they're having you pay for the installations for the stickers in hopes that you're gonna get a refund after 6 months. But if you quit in the 6 months, they're not gonna refund you that money. It's like you paid for that money because you quit. But here's how they also trick you. That insurance policy is cheap, but they're the ones that's deducting it from your policy. Now here's what they do. They end up, because they're charging you for insurance and they're self-insured, it's not like they're getting it through Progressive. They're self-insured. You're not costing them any more money. So think about this, okay? If you move around more, isn't there more chance for you to get into a car accident and file a claim against their self-insured policy, and possibly they're going to end up losing some money? And most likely, they're not even going to lose money, because they're making you buy your own policy, which is still going to be like $1 million liability bobtail, which is probably going to cost you like, I don't know, like 150, 200 bucks, you know? And but they're not making you get like cargo insurance. They put it under themselves. So technically, if you get into a car accident, guess what? You're still going to be paying for it. That's like your van, you know? But they're having you pay for the $1 million liability that, I guess, in case they get sued, somehow somebody, it's not enough who you hit, and they decide to sue you, you still got that $1 million policy they could go after, and that's going to be like on their end. So they're just covering their butts, and they're having you pay for that under the supposal thing that you have to have that so that you could get loads from brokers, you know? I still actually don't agree with that. I think brokers will give you loads even if you have like a $300,000 policy, maybe, like, you know, I could be wrong, but if the MC DOT requires you to only have a $300,000 liability, trucking liability policy, then it means if you could start with that, then it means you don't have to have $1 million for all the loads. I mean, they don't all cost $1 million. I think it's just the fact that it's a lot easier for companies to tell you need $1 million, so they cover their butts. Okay, so here's where they trick you. Okay, now focus on this, guys. Now you will be paying for that policy, right? They deduct it from your paycheck. Now here's what they do. They will keep you busy just enough so you could pay that policy and have a little money left over. Not enough to fuel yourself. You're still going to be using their fuel card to fuel. Not enough to start to use your own cash. Now you're paying them for the fuel card, that interest rate. Every time you swipe, you're paying them that fee. You're paying them for the cash advances because you don't have enough. See, that's another trick of theirs. That's how they used to make money. Believe me, I was there. That's what was going on to me. And I'm thinking, man, I want to quit and I can't quit this company. They are paying for my insurance. I cannot quit them because if I do, I cannot afford a down payment to get into another company. I cannot afford to fuel up myself because I don't have a fuel card anymore. Like, what should I do? That is tough. And that's how they get you stuck working for that company. And you might be thinking, why are they keeping you not busy? Well, here's why. They have other drivers to take your place. They're also deducting money from their checks. So they're making money regardless how often you move, how much money you make, because they're going to give you just enough to make you survive. And if you're surviving, you're not quitting them, and you can't really quit because they're not giving you enough. You see like this little tricks that they're playing in you guys. They're giving you just enough, and sometimes that's really just enough. You're barely making it, seriously, and you're thinking, what the heck is going on? And they're doing it for a reason, because they could hire like 200 people, 300 people. They don't care. They're having orientations several times a week. The orientations used to take like 4 days. Now they're taking maybe 1 day, so they're able to get people in and out, and as many as they could get with their own vans, because they don't care. It's your own van anyways. If you get into an accident, chances are your policy is going to be the ones that's used. Or if somebody runs into you, it's going to be that person that ran into you. Their policy is going to be used. So they don't care. But they are making money off you because they're charging you that weekly money all the time. So here's another side of the coin of this. Even if you are making enough money with them, let's say you got lucky enough and you made some good friends in that company and they're feeding you pretty well. I had that happen to me somehow. I don't kiss any butts, but I do my job. And because I did my job and I didn't complain, this company told me, you know what? Even though they have like a waiting type of a list, like a waiting line, when people get in there in a certain city, you might not be the first in line, but they're gonna let me go first because I do my job. You don't complain, they said. You do your job. You do this, that. So we're gonna give it to you. So that's how it is. And now, if you're in that position and you got lucky and you are kind of like staying busy, kind of like what else happens? Well, you're becoming a slave to the company, really, because if you take a week off, guess what? You're still paying for the satellite. You're still paying for their fees, because they do have fees, believe me. They make them up so well, it looks like they're supposed to be there, but they don't. And then you're paying for that insurance. So if you take a week off, it's costing you money to take a week off. So are you going to take a week off? I don't think so. Maybe you're going to take a Saturday and Sunday off, maybe, if you get lucky. If you could make it home by that time, because chances are you're not going to be making it home, because this is not semi-trucks. You can't pick and choose your loads. You can, but it's not going to be where you need to go. You can't say, you know what, today I want to go to North Carolina, I want to go to South Carolina, because there's no load that's going to South Carolina. There's one that's going to Texas, and after Texas, there's one going to, Mississippi maybe. You don't want to go to Mississippi, but maybe you want to come back to North Carolina, and it's the quickest deadhead, so you're paying for that deadhead. So you always end up paying. Like, every time you're in the wrong area and you need to move, you're the one that's paying for it. That's how it is. There's some companies out there that would pay you maybe like after you've been losing 2 days, they'll pay you to move, and they'll only pay you like $50 to move somewhere. And also there's like bunch of other sides of the coin as well. Now, some of these companies, they don't even pay us fuel surcharge anymore. By law, they're required to pay us fuel surcharge. They don't even pay us fuel surcharge anymore. They keep that for themselves. Under the rules and regulations are saying that, we agreed upon a certain amount of money per mile all in, so it's like they take your money like that because of some silly contract that you signed. So I am thinking, guys, look, if you want to continue doing this, we need to become a lot smarter, because guess what? If you're not going to become smarter, if you're not going to get in control of yourself, they're going to be in control of you. And I mean, if somebody else is in control, they're gonna do stuff that benefits them. And guess what? Who does the contract benefit most? You or them? It's their contract. It's to benefit them. It's to cover their butts, and it's for them to make all the money. Plus they do like deductions. Oh yeah, that's like another one. They have like sometimes $1,000, $2,000 deduction for what? Because they have a deductible for when you get in an accident, and sometimes it's a $500 deductible. Chances are it's a $2,000, because normally it's like a 500 to 1,000. With those companies, probably like $2,000. Guess what? They're just gonna deduct you $50 each week until you build up that deductible. You know, so it's like probably like $200 a month. So they're gonna get there in like about a year. So basically, what happens is, even if they're somehow responsible, you need to claim money on their insurance. Guess what? You're still paying for it. It's like such a scam, guys. That is done legally. It's ridiculous. I believe we as drivers need to think outside the box. We need to figure out how we could become self-insured. And that's going to be really difficult because you're going to have that money up front. So how do you do that? That is a toughie. So that is a question you have to answer for yourself. Now, if you get the money, the same amount of money, and you could self-insure, maybe it's a good idea for you. I don't know if it's just good enough for you. But there's a lot of companies out there that self-insured, including some companies from Mexico. And good luck getting money from those companies when they're self-insured, because most likely there's no laws that's making them pay that money. Because here's what most companies do. They'll self-insure from their own company, right? And maybe they had the money for covering something to self-insure in that company, supposedly, right? But if they hit a major accident or something, they claim bankruptcy, and there's like no money in the company, so they're gonna win either way. You're gonna have to think outside the box on, you know, many of these things, but staying legal, of course. I'm not gonna support the illegal activities. Basically, more of us need to do research on that. Actually, I was doing some research how to become a self-insured company, but basically you are becoming an insurance company. And you can technically become your own insurance company. You could become your own agent. Getting insurance from another insurance company that sells it, now you're an agent, you do need to take some kind of courses and some kind of training. So that could be like another way of you self-insuring and selling yourself a cheaper policy. You'll still have to pay for that policy, either for your drivers or for yourself, but at least you're a little bit more in control. So that could be like a totally different company that you opened up for insurance. Maybe it's going to be a good business for you later on. Eventually, maybe it's going to build up. You know, you probably could start it straight out of your home. You don't have to have anybody that comes over, you know, to buy insurance from you. But maybe you could slowly start selling to yourself, slowly start selling to some of your friends at a cheaper discount. Maybe there could be a way for somebody to get some cheaper policies, because it benefits you to become an insurance company, and it benefits the other driver for them to have a cheaper policy. So something needs to happen, because guys, there's so much monopoly by Progressive. It's like, I'm not even kidding. Like, what they're doing is they're going into these smaller insurance companies that sell you a very cheap policy. And you know what? They're going to say, you know what? We want to buy the commercial insurance policy, the ability for you now to write it through us, but we're going to give you a certain amount of money. They buy that section out of the company. So that company will tell you now, you know what? We can still sell you the insurance, but we could only sell it to Progressive. We can't sell you the policy you had before. So when you're renewing, you're going to have to renew it through Progressive, which is going to be like triple the cost, maybe quadruple the cost. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like happening, and I don't see how they're getting away with it, really. Are they not considered a monopoly, them doing it? Here's why. Because a lot of companies that you're going to go work for, they're going to say, who are you insured with? And you're like, oh, I'm insured through, let's say, like State Farm. No, we're not going to take State Farm. You have to have Progressive. Why is that? Well, that's what we require. We require Progressive. Like, how is that not a monopoly? Monopoly is illegal. So Progressive is creating a monopoly. See, this is what happens when, you know, these insurance companies, they become too fat with money. And they just want to take more money and become more fat, you know. It is ridiculous, but they're going to take advantage. And I'm not sure what's going on here, but I have a clue. Okay, some of these companies that are making you buy the insurance, they are not brand new companies, but they maybe been in the game for 5-7 years, maybe 10 years. They have some of their own vans that also run for them, and most likely they're insuring to Progressive at a huge discount, but they have to make everybody buy Progressive. You see? That's probably what's going on. Not that they told me, but that makes sense to me. Why would they want to push Progressive policies? And chances are, those same companies are the ones that's telling you, you need to buy insurance from us to work for us, because they're selling you that policy. as an insurance company, making a commission as an insurance company from the Progressive. Progressive pays them that commission. They made money on you through selling you insurance. Now they're making money of you driving for them and basically claiming everything else. You see, you have to think outside the box on these things. And when you are working for these corporations, what else can you expect? This is all you could expect, is for them to completely take advantage of you. You cannot expect no less. And that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. But some of you guys, I'm not saying all of you guys, but some of you guys that become your own companies, and I know you will, you might consider doing the same thing. That's unfortunate, because you really should be thinking about your fellow drivers that are struggling out there, that basically was going the same thing you were going through, and you need to kind of like help them out to try to, you know, give them the reasonable pay so they could pay all their bills and have money, you know, left over, because it is a business. Unfortunately, some people, they see the dollar signs, and that ruins people. It's like gold ruins people. People like will kill for gold, you know, and gold, all it is money. You know, it's an asset, it's a value, and some people will kill for it. That is unfortunate, but that's how it is. Like anytime there's money involved, a large amount of it, it corrupts people. It corrupts governments, it corrupts businesses, and it might be like a legal type of corruption, but the activity itself should be illegal, you know. But unfortunately, that's how it is. I know there's like a saying, in order to become like successful, you have to walk on people's heads. You have to know how to walk on people's heads. There's also other sayings, like you have to be ruthless to, you know, to become like your own boss in like a company, because you just have to like not care anymore. Like, why does it have to be that way? That's what I ask. Like, why can't you be a nice company that treats people fair, and because of that, your business grows, you become more successful, you become more respected by your, you know, your co-workers and, you know, others, you know, in your business, because you are fair. Now, I'm sure there is fair companies like that out there. Unfortunately, not many. I will make a few more examples. Like my dad, he's a truck driver, and for, you know, he's been working on the truck since like 1997. That's when he actually started working. In '98, he got his own truck, and he had to get his own MC, the DOT. He had to get all that. He has to pay for all this IFTA and all this other stuff. It's really expensive to be in the trucking. He bought a brand new truck too, Peterbilt, brand new from the factory, and that's really expensive. So he was making payments and stuff. So he worked for some companies, and there were foreign companies that speak his language. You know, he's a Ukrainian. So, man, in the beginning, when they start out, they're looking for all these truckers that's going to work for them, and they're so nice. These companies are so nice to these people. I remember my dad would be talking to these these companies. They'd be calling him brother, like, oh, brother. Brother, thank you so much, and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? That same company, later on, ended up screwing him over for $70,000. Here's what they did. They sent him on 1099 that he made extra $70,000. And he didn't catch it at first, because it's kind of like in the pay, you know, because truckers make a lot of money, so they added that extra. And you're thinking that, wow, you made so much money. You're doing good. But guess what? My dad, one bad thing about what he does with his business, he never calculates what his true expenses are. He does not even calculate down. I'm like, Dad, you got to look at these things like that and like this. And like, he's like, how do you know? How do you know? He always asks me these silly questions. And he still, to this day, does not calculate. I'm like, Dad, why are you calculating? I don't even want to know. It's going to upset me. But you got to know. There's no way about it. That you can't let that upset you. If that's upsetting you, you got to do something about it. But anyways, here's what happens with them. Oh, man. Here's what happened. And this is like such a huge IRS scam. Not by IRS. Just by a company. And they scammed him. $70,000. They added that to his pay. So when he done his taxes, he had to pay $10,000 to the IRS for making more money than he did. And that was because he went over. He had to contact that company and tell them, hey, listen, you know, you got to fix this. And they end up fixing it. So he didn't have to, you know, pay that money. But if he didn't catch that, my dad would end up paying $10,000. But here's what they do. Imagine they made $1 million, right, as profit for themselves after they paid all the drivers. So Look at the scammers, ways that they're doing it. So they're making him make $70,000 extra, another guy maybe 40, another guy 50, you know, and they'll probably go up to $1 million. Spread their income amongst all the drivers, only to claim losses now as a company, like they paid so much money to these drivers, so they don't have to pay any taxes. When in fact they actually made all that money and they put that money in the bank, maybe in a safe or safe deposit box, or they invested in new trucks or whatever. But the case still stays the same. See, money corrupts some of these companies. When they were brand new, they were so nice. And that is the thing. It's like, how do you know this nice is still going to be nice to you and reasonable once he becomes a huge company? Because he will become a huge company. That's why I'm telling you guys that if you do open up your own company, chances are you will struggle in the beginning. There's no ifs or buts about it. That's what's going to happen. But you don't have to struggle alone. You can have your own MCDOT. You can also call other companies because you have your own insurance. Don't get fooled into buying some big corporation's insurance and putting their stickers in your van. Don't do that. Unless you really have to. You need to save money on that insurance. You can't afford any other way. You're not thinking about growing a company, then hey, so be it. Go over there, let them take advantage of it. That is fine. Maybe you're still going to make money in the process, but you're also going to be taking advantage in the process. But that being said, if you have your own insurance, it's going to cost you a lot more money. So might as well grow your business while you're doing it. I'm not saying get Selectus right away. Maybe wait a year. Let your MC build up, you know, like in a year. Then here's a little tip for you guys. All right, so this is what you're gonna need to do. Selectus will have you pay between $6,000 and $9,000 for a fee just to join them. Like, this is so you could get approved if you only have like one van. Here's a trick. Man, and all of you guys could do that. Like, I don't even have to even say it, but I'm gonna say it. You could simply, in Laredo or any truck stop, go walk around a truck stop and talk to drivers and say, listen, let's get together. You know, first find out if they're working for themselves. Let's get together. First of all, let's become a company together. I just want to have business for myself. You could have business for yourself. Somehow figure out a way. And there's many ways of doing it, but I'm just giving you like an opinion, okay? Say, listen, I already opened up a company here, right? Maybe you opened it up. You don't have to have them open up a company. Just tell them, listen, I opened up a company. I'm going to be bidding loads for myself. I will bid loads for you for free. Maybe you'll say that. Maybe you won't. But it doesn't matter. Maybe you give them the ability to bid loads for themselves, because that's going to be a little bit more fair. Because if you're bidding loads for them, then you're not really making money for it. And yeah, loading 5 people is going to be time consuming. So anyways, just say, listen, we need 5 people. We need 5 people to get on Selectus, right? I already have a company that's opened. We need 5 people so that we could get on Selectus. Are you on board? I am sure by the end of the day, you're going to find 5 people, maybe you're going to find 10 people that's going to say, yes, heck yeah, I'm on board. I want to be in control of my freight. So you will get them to be in this business. But make sure you sign some kind of contract. Because listen, somebody's going to screw up somewhere down the line, okay? So listen, let's sign this thing or whatever. You know, have some kind of a deal together. If this corporation closes, because everybody's benefiting from it, like if you're letting them load under you and stuff like that, then the next corporation, you all chip in and you open it up again, because you keep opening up corporations. Once you screw it up, you'll all chip in and you make another corporation, so all of you guys could load each other. Maybe that could grow into being a business where somebody's going to say, listen, I'm just going to sit home and load people. Is that okay? Of course it's okay. He chipped in. It is fine. You know, just all share in the cost of insurance, all share in the cost of, you know, bidding for the loads, and in the cost of where, you know, it costs money, because this kind of costs money. Like the corporation costs money. So if it costs you $500 to open up a corporation, say, listen, guys, I opened it up already. I already have it. If you want to work under mine, let's do it. But it cost me $500, so I'm just gonna need $100 from each one of you. So, you're gonna need 4 people. You're the 5th person, so $100 from each. So you all paid $100. So now you have the corporation together. So now say, listen, let's buy insurance with more buying power from whoever you're gonna buy it from for all the events. So that company is gonna be buying insurance. So now you're getting buying power insurance discount for all your 5 vans. Now you've done that. Now all of you just saved more money, more than $100. So you saved quite a bit of money, maybe $500 per year per each van, maybe more. So because the corporations, when they have more than one van, it's a multiple vehicle discount, you know, either way. So you get that benefit. So then you tell this, you know, people, okay, once we get a load board, let's share in the cost of a load board. So apply for Selectus, for instance, right? Selectus requires you to have at least 5 vans to start. If they haven't raised the number, if they raise the number, you're gonna need more people. But let's say they didn't. Now apply to be part of Selectus a month later, since when you open up your MC. I skipped the MC part, but it's only obvious. You need to open up MC with your insurances and stuff ahead of time. You're gonna need to have it at least a month. So then you're gonna need to start bidding for loads yourself. Now you got 5 people to do it. And each one at the beginning is going to be their own loads. I'm just saying that's going to be like kind of like a little example. Okay, so now what's going on is you submit your application as a company with your 5 drivers. You know, you have everybody's registrations, whatever, proof of insurance, certificate of liability with the company's name on there. You know, I guess have your business be a certificate holder for all those vans, right? Like just like you're supposed to be. And you send that into, you know, for them, and they need to approve you. So if they do approve you to be on Selectus, it's going to cost you $300 a month to pay. But guys, you're probably going to each pay like 70 to 80 bucks per month just to use Selectus. Did you know 1,000-mile load? If you're gonna pay somebody 20 cents, like let's say you made like 80 cents, you lost 20 because you're not getting $1. That is $200 you lost to somebody else just for that single load for 1,000 miles. Will you have at least one of those in a month? Of course you will. You're gonna have that probably in the next 2 days. So that is like my thing. I am saying that you should do that. More people get together, then guess what? You will get the prices that you deserve for your loads. That's 1. You're gonna make more money per each load. That's 2. You're gonna save money on insurance. That's 3. You're gonna be like in control. You're gonna have your own load board, and you don't have to pay that $6,000 to $9,000 because now you have 5 friends that signed up. And if they screw it up where they bid load and they did something to where they screw it up to where you have too many negatives things and you get kicked off Selectus, you will then take one of those friends if you have to use their information. But I just say, listen, open up a LLC, run everything under LLC, don't run anything under personal names. LLC protects you, and you know, choose if you want to have an S corporation, but LLC would be better, in my opinion, for this type of thing. You're not a big business just yet. You don't need to be doing quarterly filings, which is annoying. It's like doing taxes every quarter, every 3 months, basically, as a S corporation, unless you're really business savvy and you're like, listen, this S corporation is going to give me a stock options. I could, you know, like become my own, you know, I could offer stock options and stuff. I could sell some stock. I could get investors in that thing. If you're that savvy and you want to have like a stock offering, you know, in a few years, then hey, go for that. But you could always upgrade on the road anyway, so it don't even matter. But in the beginning, you have to do the minimum in order to become the maximum in about 3 years. So now you having 5 people that's in your corporation, you will then also have bidding power with working with brokers directly, because don't depend on Selectus. You have Selectus, that is a backup so that you could keep running, so you could actually keep being busy, okay? Then you start working with some brokers directly, and the way I recommend is, listen, you're gonna bid a load from Selectus, right? Bid some of those. Most likely, you're gonna have to talk to that broker that just brokered a load from Selectus. Become friends with him. Maybe you do a load once or twice with him. Get to know that broker and say, listen, we could work directly with you. You could offer us load. We have 5 people. We have, for instance, let's say you got somebody out of Michigan, somebody South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, you know, Ohio, you know, 5 people. And you say, listen, we have people in Ohio, Michigan, Texas, you know, South Carolina, North Carolina, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? So it makes you look kind of like you got different offices, because you do. You have five partners. So you need to like open up like a partnership type of thing, because you could also open up to all the partners controlling, but you could also have where you just have one corporation, just so everybody has a chance. Later on, if you are able to work together, because you're not losing nothing, if you're willing and able to work together, you want to open up a partnership to where you could actually jump at the bigger opportunity, convert that LLC into a partnership. All of you become partners. All of you now are going to be having their offices, and before you know it, you're going to be, each one of you maybe hire a driver or 3 or 5, and each one of you becomes dispatch, I guess, am I saying it right? You're going to be basically bidding loads for maybe like 5 people. So that's like 25 people that you have working for yourself. If you have 30 people, so in that case, let's just say, listen, 6 people for each person. So you're going to have a little bit over 30 people that's going to be working for you. That is $90,000 income if you're profiting from each driver 20 cents. That is if you're paying them 80 cents per mile. So that is if the drivers are doing anywhere from 10 to 15,000 miles. I believe it's 15,000 miles. You know, maybe that's a big number. I haven't done a calculation recently. This is an old calculation, so I was probably doing it based on 15,000 miles. Hopefully I did it under 10. That's not really matter in this case. Even if I'm running $45,000, that is still better than you would have done each on your own. Now that you're bidding loads for somebody else and you're staying home with 5 people. Now you don't have to have your own van. You don't have to have that van payment anymore because you don't have to drive anymore. You're sitting home bidding loads. I think that's a lot better than becoming a driver and driving across the whole United States and not being safe and all this other good stuff. I mean, don't you think? You know, that's what I think. So anyways, that is the thing. This is just a few ideas, guys. And imagine if I'm coaching you guys, this is some ideas that I could give you. And I know what all of you will tell me, okay? If you're so smart and if you know this, why don't you do it? You know, I don't have to do everything that I come up with, guys. Do you know how many businesses ideas that I come up with and I actually calculate them just for the heck of it? I literally look at many different business opportunities. And why do I do that? I actually look at everything and I look at each business and I calculate them versus each other. I don't even know what to really call it. It's like I compare each businesses and I'm looking, okay, and this business is going to make you, for instance, 300,000, 300,000, 300,000, 300,000, 300,000, right? They all making 300,000. Then I'm looking, okay, how much money will I need to spend in order to make that happen? How much money I need to spend, you know, with all these businesses? Turns out, like, they're all doing good, but one of them, maybe I spend more money than another. Then I choose the best business that does that. And I'm looking at it like, okay, this is the best business for the money, but will I want to do that for the rest of my life? And if the answer is no, which one do I want to do? If it's none of them, I'm going to keep looking. Money to me is less important than doing exactly what I want to do for life. But I understand Expedite. This used to be something I wanted to hop on and I wanted to do. That's why I know so much about it. Like, I constantly research Expedite. Like, I constantly wanted to, you know, do it. And I was a fleet owner at one point and I was making money. You know, but I did experience some unsuccessful type of things because I'm just me. It's just one person. I am me, I have a wife, I have kids, and if it's like everything is on me, the whole repairs, all the payments and everything, I am weaker by myself. That means I cannot handle it, everything. Now I can. Now, as one person, if I would open up, man, I would be so successful, I believe, because, you know, even if I just hire 5 people to do loads for, that's it. That's it. Like, I don't have to really hire anybody else. I'll be making like double money what I was on Expedite before. So it's like I don't have to really work anymore. And that's going to be clear profit too because I'm not spending no fuel on it. I'm not spending for no insurance. I'm not doing anything. It's like I completely cut my losses and cut my responsibilities by 75% probably. And all I would be doing is just doing what I do at home and just bid every once in a while. And if you're driving, I just come and check on you and, you know, give you a call. That would be really easy. At this time, that's not what I want to do. I have actually a different focus and I only have like a few minutes because I want to keep this under an hour. What I want to actually become is somebody that I always dream of becoming. I want to become a motivational speaker. I want to become a life coach. And that's actually what I want to do. I rather train other people to do businesses that they want to do to be successful by me able to share different ideas about this business. Because the truth of the matter is, I can't do every single business that I think about. There's just not enough time. Yes, I could start all these corporations. Yes, I could hire people to do it for me, but that requires huge sums of money, huge sums of time, and I just don't have that, you know? So therefore, I much rather give this information to somebody that, for instance, that I'm coaching and let them run with this information and give them some kind of support over the phone. And that way they can grow their business. But this thing that I offered in this video, it's only going to be good for 1 year because chances are in a year my price is going to rise, and if you want to stick with me, most likely the price is going to be like a little bit higher. I will give you, of course, a break than the newcomers because I do consider that if you were initially somebody that started out with me, you should still be getting some kind of discount. That's what I believe in. So there's a lot of information in here, and I love to share it with other people. I could put them in videos and do it that way, and that's not time consuming for me, because like I'm saying, I'm already spending an hour on this video. I don't even know if this video is gonna make me more money back, but I spend an hour, I kind of like, I do my thing and I forget about it and I don't think about it anymore. But let me know if you want me to become a life coach for you, if you just want to be, you know, at a cost of $100 per month for the year. Of course, no contract. You know, if you want to decide that you don't like it, you know, you could quit, but there's gonna be like no money back guarantee. Okay, that's like the only thing. I can't really offer that, because time spent is time spent. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. God bless you, and good luck in your business. Bye bye.